Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I of course want to start off by giving all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Yahweh who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I just want to do a little video going over, an SHTF scenario, which basically just means, shit hits the fan, for those that didn't know. And I'm going to talk about barter, okay? Barter, which basically, of course, we all should know what that word means, but it basically means a means of trade. Say, for example, throughout human history, certain things were used for trade. Say, salt, stones, paper currency, which is what we use now, or even certain goods for other goods. Okay, say, for example, if you give me a few eggs from your chicken, I'll give you, I don't know, some milk from my cow or something like that. Okay, that's how it has always worked for human history. And, with the collapse of a society, okay, which is what we're seeing now, all around us, America, aka Babylon the Great, or that great city, spoken of in the scriptures, or the scriptures, side joke. We clearly see that, civil unrest, a full-out SHTF scenario is very likely to happen within the next few years, man. Especially with the upcoming, presidential election. We don't know what the hell to expect, man. Okay, so always be prepared. Now I want to give a little list of stuff that I conceive, for lack of better words, or perceive would be a better word to use, that I perceive will be very valuable to own and be able to use for barter in the coming time, man. Okay, now vast majority of these I own, for this, particular scenario. But some I need to get myself. Okay, now number one is going to be canned food. You know why? Because in an SHTF scenario, there's going to be no food left on the shelves. So food and water are going to be by far the most important and most valuable commodity that there is to trade. Far above gold and silver. But that'll come later on the list. Okay, but food at the number one spot on this list is food and water. Okay, say for an example, I have a few hundred canned beans, okay, in my closet over there. I, of course, like them, but I also know that in a shortage and SHTF scenario, those can of beans, today, they're worth $1. Exactly, from the Dollar Tree, worth $1. But guess what? In a scenario where there's no food, somebody would be willing to do anything for that, man. Okay, somebody be willing to do anything for some of those, man. And let me even say this, man. It's going to come a point in time. And this has happened throughout history. This happened throughout history as well. But, there's going to come a point in time where, you might be able to, which I'm not saying to do this, but, it's definitely going to happen. Men who were prepared, for this. They might be, countered by people who, are desperate, who are looking for help. And, what they might offer is, well, we don't have anything to offer, but how about this? If you give us, 30 cans of food and water, I'll give you my dollar. You know what I'm saying? That's really going to happen, man. That's really going to happen. And as, barbaric as that might actually sound, that really is going to happen out here, man. Okay, when people get desperate, they're going to do anything, man. Okay, and when you read the Bible, right, there's prophecies that speak about, that the Lord shall set a famine in the land, and he shall cause those in the mountains, they shall eat their own flesh for the very lack of bread. And even going back to the time of, I believe it was King Solomon, if I'm not mistaken, might have been David, but I believe it was Solomon. There was a story where, two women were speaking, during the time of famine. And the one woman said, give us your child to eat today, then tomorrow we can eat mine. And guess what? They did that. Okay, now, of course, when it was, came the second woman's turn to get her child eaten, she, hit her child But the point is, they ate the other person's child. That's cannibalism, man. And that's another thing that's going to come in the SHTF is cannibalism, which means what? People eating other people, man. Okay, that's going to be expected. Right? People get hunted down in the streets for food, man. All right? And that's, happened throughout all human history. All right? And it will most certainly happen again. Okay, so of course, number one on the list is food and water. Specifically, I would say canned food and bottled water would be your best option. Number two would be water purification filters. Now, I myself actually live next to a large flowing river, so this is very valuable for me because all I have to do is take, say, for example, one of my 10 life straws and drink directly from the water. I don't have to worry about purifying it because the life straw filters all impurities out of it. And guess what? The life straw can be purchased today for $17 or $18, sometimes $20. And I also have one I got. Actually, somebody gave it to me. It's called the Life Straw, but it also has a bottle that it's in, so you can carry unfiltered water inside the bottle and filter it as you drink it through the Life Straw. Okay, and that's like $40. Okay, which I recommend just getting the straw itself because you can get two for the price of that one. But the point of the matter is, doesn't matter what one you get, but the value that one of those things are gonna have in this type of situation is it's just too insane. It's gonna be worth its weight in gold, man. Like, I mean, we're talking about, people be willing to trade vehicles for something like that, man. Okay, I mean, that's going to be very valuable to have. That's why I got like 10 of them, stored away, man. If I spend a couple hundred on that, it's going to be worth its weight in gold in those coming days, man. Okay, number 3 will be silver. Now notice, of course I want to make mention of this. Notice I do not say gold. And the reason why I say this is I am not saying that gold is not valuable. And I'm not saying that gold will not be valuable in SHTF. However, if we take into consideration, gold as of today is what, $900? If I'm not mistaken, I didn't look, but that's what I believe it is as of, October, 2020. So why would one want to spend $900 on a piece of gold that in the coming time, I mean, what are you really going to get for that? You know what I mean? What are you going to trade, $900 or $1,000 worth of gold, which is what, one coin, for? It just doesn't really make sense in my eyes. Now, if you got the money, then go for it. But if you're poor like me, or as, as Elder Apostle Dahar of GMS always says, that, silver is the poor man's gold. And I always stick by that saying. Okay, so what I did is I actually went out recently and bought about $600 worth of silver. And I'm talking, I spent a good couple hundred on the 1 ounce coins, and then I spent a couple hundred, well, actually it was 100. I spent on they call it constitutional silver coins, or junk, or what is it? Junk silver. Yeah, junk silver. Now the reason I did that, and you can look up what those are if you didn't know, but the reason I do that, the reason I buy the very low amount, say the 1 ounce coin or the junk silver, is because that's going to be what you barter with. Okay, now I seen a video earlier, I believe it's from a guy named extremist American survivalist or something like that, and he was saying that gold and silver is just retarded to have for SHTF. Now I disagree with him, because gold and silver will always be valuable. Okay, always be valuable. Okay, the dollar having a stack of cash is going to be worthless, but gold and silver, that is always going to be valuable. However, one also has to take into consideration that in desperate times, not everybody is going to be willing to trade for silver for precious goods. Okay? That also has to be taken into consideration. However, to have such commodities such as gold and silver, specifically silver, I want to focus on silver. Having silver in one of those situations can always be a very good situation to be in compared to not having it. Okay, because it can be used for, you know, say for example, if you have the junk silver, it's easier to be able to barter with. A little harder if you have the 1 ounce coins, but you know what? It's better to have the 1 ounce coins than to have the 10 ounce coins, and then the bars. Unless you use 1 ounce, or maybe 2 ounce bars, but stay with the 1 ounce bars. That's what I would say. Okay, just 1 ounce bars or 1 ounce coins, and then junk silver. That is what you want to stay with. Okay, because that is going to be the most useful silver in a SHTF, scenario. Okay, another one that's going to be very valuable is let's see, what else could we mention? Batteries. Okay, batteries are going to be very, important in that time, man, because the average person, the average household, maybe has, I don't know, maybe a pack or two of batteries, to power, the remote, maybe a flashlight, and, a few other things around the house. But those flashlights, or I mean, let me phrase myself, those batteries, are going to run out very quick, man. Say if an EMP happens, or, any other situation where those batteries are needed, batteries are going to be in very high demand, man. Okay, very high demand in that time. That's why I have a whole pallet of them, that I have stored away. Okay, very valuable to have batteries. Okay, say another one will be, another valuable one, I suppose one could call it, 5 or the 5th most valuable, is of course going to be, skills. Okay, say for example, sewing, or, being able to hunt. Those can also be things to barter, man. Okay, you can barter all these things that I mentioned here for goods that you want. Okay, all these things can be bartered. Say, for example, if you know how to sew, somebody needs you to sew some clothes, and then you have them, I don't know, give you something that you need. Okay, very simple. Okay, so, I mean, that was only, 5, examples of stuff that's going to be very valuable, in an SHTF scenario. But, you can all, share your faults down below. And, anything else you want to add to the list, hey, I might not even have it. So if you have anything you want to share, please do so down below. I might learn something new. Or, anything you think should be added to, the list will go up to 20. All right, so if you have any, to add from, 5th that I mentioned up to 20, then you can add it, down below. And, yeah, with that being said, I'm going to say it's too long.